There's a version of you that's clinging to comfort. It hits snooze, it overthinks, it fears rejection, it avoids responsibility. That version of you, it's not just holding you back, it's slowly destroying everything you could become. If you don't stand up and destroy that weak version of yourself, it will consume you quietly, day by day. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be perfect, it demands you become disciplined, and that journey begins with one brutal decision: to let go of the soft, fragile self that can't handle discomfort and choose to become forged in it. Let's talk about how you do that. Number 1. Identify the weak self. Chapter 1. You already know who that version of you is. You feel it every time you hesitate to take action, every time you procrastinate or justify not trying. It shows up when you give in to temptation. It whispers excuses when things get hard. It's the version of you that convinces you to stay the same because you're not ready yet. This version of yourself wasn't born overnight, it was sculpted by every moment you chose comfort over challenge, by every time you walked away from discipline. And the more you fed it, the more it became your default. But here's the truth: what you've been is not what you're destined to be. Stoics like Epictetus didn't sugarcoat life. He said, difficulties show men what they are, and in that difficulty, you find truth. If life is showing you your weakness, it's not punishing you, it's revealing your next battlefield. Your job is to stop running from it, name it, face it, then deliberately dismantle it. Number 2. Choose. Chapter 2. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is a fair-weather friend. It shows up when things feel exciting or new. But the weak version of you relies on that feeling. The strong version of you builds systems, not dreams. Marcus Aurelius woke each morning to a battle with himself. He reminded his own mind that he was made for action, not luxury, not for staying under warm blankets, but for getting up and fulfilling his role as a human being. That's not some heroic fantasy, that's war with the weaker self. When you choose discipline, you silence the part of you that waits to feel ready. You train yourself to act regardless of how you feel. That's where power is, because in the absence of motivation, what remains is your will. Every moment you choose what's necessary over what's comfortable, you chip away at the old version of yourself. That's how warriors are made, through repetition, not bursts of inspiration. Discipline is not a trait, it's a practice. And that practice is what destroys the fragile identity clinging to ease. Number 3. Embrace voluntary. Chapter 3. Discomfort. You want strength? Then stop running from the very thing that builds it, discomfort. The Stoics didn't train in luxury. Seneca would sleep on the ground, wear simple clothes, and deprive himself of comforts, not because he was poor, but because he was preparing for life. He wanted to know that if fortune left him tomorrow, he'd still have himself. When you seek out discomfort deliberately, you take back control. You stop fearing the unknown. Cold showers, fasting, hard physical training, difficult conversations, these are tools of growth. They hurt. That's the point. The weak version of you will always scream when things get hard. That's its survival mechanism. But every time you ignore that scream and lean into pain with awareness, you make the voice weaker, until eventually, it vanishes. Growth is not found in what feels safe. It's in the edge of your capacity, in the fire that either breaks you or burns away everything false. Number 4. Control your emotions. Chapter 4. Or be controlled by them. Your emotions are not the enemy, but your attachment to them might be. The weak self reacts, it gets angry, jealous, defensive. It sees every obstacle as personal, every challenge as an attack. But the Stoic self, it breathes, it observes, it waits. Then it responds with intention. If someone disrespects you, the weak self wants to lash out. The strong self holds composure, not out of weakness, but because it knows that power lies in restraint. You destroy the weak version of yourself every time you pause before reacting, every time you ask yourself, is this worthy of my energy? Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. That's your mind tricking you, turning emotions into monsters. So you must train not just your habits but your responses. Discipline of the mind is just as critical as discipline of the body. The more you master your emotional world, the less the external world can shake you. That is the real battlefield, your own perception. Conquer that, and the rest of life becomes far less threatening. Number 5. Build a daily. Chapter 5. Practice of Inner Mastery. This isn't a one-time decision. Destroying the weak version of yourself is a lifestyle. Every day, it tries to resurrect itself, and every day, you must bury it again. So how do you do that? Through ritual, through reflection, through consistent inner work. That means waking up early and deciding how you will show up in the world. That means journaling at night, not just to vent, but to audit your soul. That means practicing what you preach when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations as reminders to himself, not to others. Because the real work isn't performed publicly, it's done in silence, when you skip the distraction, when you say no to the easy path. The stronger self isn't built through external achievements. It's built by aligning your actions with your principles over and over again, especially when it's hard. Destroying the weak self means becoming intentional. It means discipline is no longer optional, it's your oxygen. The weak version of you will, closing, always beg to return. It will disguise itself as comfort, laziness, pleasure, distraction. Don't be fooled. You don't owe the past version of yourself any loyalty. The moment you see it clearly, you must decide, evolve or repeat. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Be ruthless with your excuses. Be loyal to your higher nature. And begin the destruction of your weaker self today.